everybody. Wow, it's been a minute since we've been like super live. Yes. First of all, I want to recap a week that we had last week. Holy cow. First of all, to all of our members and our partners, thank you so much. Our brief, build the global home for independent agencies. Our mission, serve independent agencies and the brilliant people behind them. Our goal is more visibility for indies and more choice for marketers. You can learn more about membership. And our platform is in 5 key areas: in media and editorial, in community, in celebration. That's awards, that's events, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. Consulting, members get 15-minute consulting sprints. We don't care where you get visibility as long as you get it. And if our members want to be in one of the trades, we want to help them. We want to get them into the mix. So, and then the final part is biz dev, Indie Agency Connect. More about that, go to indieagency.news/join. You'll learn more about that. But I do want to talk a little bit about the events we had last week. We had a great event at Allen & Garrettson at their third space in Philadelphia, right on Independence Mall, by the way. And a lot of you know that I went to middle school and high school outside of Philly. I'm a big Philly guy. So apologies to all of you who might not dig the Philly thing, the Philly sports thing in particular. Philadelphia is a great city. Really good agencies there. So had a nice little get together. Kyle O'Brien, our managing editor, was joining us on that. And then we went up to New York. Kudos to our friends at Brands and Culture, a great event at Webster Hall. And then we had our first show off at the Gramercy, the Delancey on the Lower East Side. 10 of our members showed off their work. It was awesome. The vibes were great. We were able to actually open up we actually are on the rooftop, and we were able to open up the roof. So we had a beautiful spring evening in the city. So that was a lot of fun. The next, we're going to have 2 show-offs coming up next. The 2 cities that we're going to be going to are going to be Los Angeles and Cincinnati. So they're going to have more details on that. Also, we're going to be announcing the finalists for our top 40 design honor. Going to be celebrating that, and then we'll let you know what cities we're going to be going to. We'll be counting down the top 37 on live stream, and then the last 3 we actually go into the cities and surprise the winners. Now, I have been going, and some of you have been going to this wonderful week in the south of France. I first went to Cannes Lions in, oh my God, it's 15 years ago. So this will be I skipped a couple of years, but this will be my 12th Cannes Lions. I love going to this. I loved covering it for the drum. I loved covering it for Adweek. I loved being there. I loved being in the mix on this thing. And in particular, last year, we're very proud about the coverage we had last year because we were so focused on indies. But for those of you who go, I think, especially on the creative side, this candy store of brilliant creativity from around the world, it's really, really special. And it's huge. I mean, this is our Oscars. Let's be honest. This is definitely our Oscars. And I do want to say that the people at Cannes have been nothing short of incredible to me over the years as a journalist and an editor, and they've been incredibly accommodating and just wonderful to work with. And that extends to the rest of the team as well. And I mentioned the consulting piece of what we're doing, and we will look at your awards entries, including Cannes. So if you're working on your big old placemat and all the other stuff that you're doing for Cannes Lions, we want to look at that because we want to see more indies and especially more of our members jump in. And today is a really, really good session because we're actually going to dig into, oh my God, you're both there. Why do I just have Kyle's name? Noelle, introduce yourself. Come on.
Well, thanks, Doug. Hi, everyone. My name is Noelle, and I work on the Lions Learning team at Cannes Lions.
Yes, exactly. And you're from Ireland.
And I'm
Kyle.
started
Yes.
Yep.
And
And I'm Kyle. I'm also on the Lions Learning team. So I work closely with Noelle across all we can offer at Can Lions in terms of learning.
I have one question before we get started for Kyle.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm ready.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi. Of
Okay,
course.
correct. Okay.
Real. It's real.
So here's the thing. I was at Can Lions 2019 Women's World Cup going on. I went to
Yeah.
see Norway versus Australia, and I was
Mhm.
walking behind a huge crew. Sam Kerr, by the way.
Yeah.
I can't say she's one of my favorite players.
Oh,
So I'm like a few meters behind,
yeah.
and I
Mhm.
just yell out Aussie, 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 and they just go oi, oi, oi. Didn't even turn around.
You don't need to. Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't need to.
I loved it. I loved
Yeah.
it. Yep. And are we bringing Keon on too? Keon's a little early. We're gonna hang out.
Well, we're going to run this session, and then at the end we've
Okay, then
got a
we'll bring
special
Keon.
treat. So if anyone has any questions around awards or submissions, Keon is going to take to the stage and answer any questions that you have.
Yes. So if you do have questions, and also after the fact, because the vast majority of the people that tune into this usually watch it after the fact. So get a hold of me directly, Zanger at indieagency.news. I'm more than happy to pass you on to whomever you'd like to talk to at Can. And like I said, for our members, we are here to help you with your entries because we do want. I loved covering it last year, by the way, because it was through this indie lens. I want to see more. I want to see more. So
Keon's team are amazing, and they're always here to help. So we'll share the email address as
great.
well.
Yep.
Any questions for them, if you want to book a call with them to talk about your submissions, please
Yep.
do. They're a great team and they're always on hand to do whatever they can,
Yep.
especially for the indies.
Yep. Now, today we are going to go into a sneak peek behind the curtain here. And I'm going to go ahead and give the wheel to Kyle because I went through this presentation. I was like, okay, cool. This is going to help answer a lot of questions. So, Kyle, I'm just going to be here hanging out with you. But the floor is yours, man. Go for it.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, no. So Noelle and I will run you through this session. It's all about, like you can see, the secrets, strategies, and skills behind Lion winning work, and also how we've been able to build a Lions learning team to really help you get there. So Noelle will start us off.
I'll start us off. I will say, for anyone joining in live, please get your mobile phones ready. We do have a QR code that you can scan. For anyone dialing in later, unfortunately, you can't take part in the interactive aspect of the session, but you can, give it a good guess. To Doug's point earlier, Can Lions is, I think, the greatest place on earth to learn about creativity. And we've based a lot of our Lions learning courses on the expertise and inspiration that we see at the festival every year, the real world examples of craft and creativity in action. So today's session is based on, we'll start off and we'll go through some of the trends that we saw from last year. And then we're going to hear from a Can Lions juror themselves on what you need to be looking out for when you are judging award-winning work. We will then judge 5 pieces of outdoor work, and then we'll hear a pre-recorded message from Marco Venturelli from Publicis Council about why that work was awarded what it was. So for those of you lucky enough to enter the jury room, we will kick off the session in just a few seconds. Fun fact for you, we get 4,000 submissions for jurors each year at Can. Unfortunately, not everyone gets selected. So it's a really, really big honor to be picked. And we have heard from our jurors that the time they spent in the Can Lions jury room is one of the most effective classrooms that they have ever been in. So I want to kick us off and talk a little bit about last year's festival. So I was also lucky enough to go, but I didn't know Doug yet. I think Doug and I met maybe 2 months later, and we've done quite a few bits together. We've done the independent agency wrap up in New York. And I'm also going to be in New York in a couple of weeks' time. So if anyone is around and fancies a coffee, hit me up. And last year was my first time going, and it was absolutely amazing. And I think to be lucky enough to go to Cannes and see how incredible it is, it's just all the passion, all the talent, all the joy, and all the fun in one place for a week. And my favorite part of the week isn't, the beaches and, going to the pub after. It's genuinely the awards session and watching people accept awards and seeing how much it changes their careers and changes their lives, and just the absolute joy on stage. So last year, I want to run through some key trends that we saw from the main stage. So we saw a return to traditional craft techniques in the creativity toolbox. We discovered how brands are loosening up in insights and trends. We explored how to nurture line-winning talent and culture. Innovation was a key component, and we will be judging the piece of work here at number 4. And we'll finish up the first part of our session speaking about salience. So, first things first, let's look at this piece of work from Luave and Suna Fujita.
Luave. Luave.
This piece of work took the Grand Prix in our inaugural luxury and lifestyle lines. The in-house work used stop-motion animation in a handcrafted film that boosted Luave's Christmas revenue by 35%. The luxury and lifestyle lines jury president, Charles Georges Picot, CEO of Global Luxury Practice and Global Client Lead at Publicis Group, praised the work for blending traditional craftsmanship with contemporary design. Next up, we have DoorDash All the Ads by Wyden and Kennedy Portland. It took a Grand Prix titanium lion.
DoorDash can DoorDash pretty much anything. So this year during football's biggest event, DoorDash will DoorDash stuff from all the ads. All to one winner. All the snacks. Every automobile. A tax service. And who knows what else. We haven't fully thought this thing through yet. Just look for the promo code on the big day for a chance to win it all. DoorDashAllTheAds.com.
Now, as you might know, we introduced a use of humor category across many of the lines last year, and we had 798 entries, showing that brands that understand humor, well, it can really pay off for them. And one brand that knew this was DoorDash. So to prove it could deliver more than just food, they set about to offer viewers a chance to win products from every single ad aired during that year's Super Bowl. To be in with a chance to win, you had to enter a comically long promo code, and this generated a phenomenal 11.9 billion impressions. I think we've gone too far. We need to go back to the Everyday Tactician. Okay, the Everyday Tactician, Xbox and McCann London. Let's take a look.
They're way ahead of us in size of club, in finance and everything else.
Football Manager is the most realistic football simulator in gaming. You don't control the players, you manage the team.
I'm going to speak to the manager of Bromley FC. He wants to hire a gamer to join his backroom staff.
Today, we're looking for Bromley's next tactician, and it could be you.
This is why I've been playing this game for like the past 20 years.
Cherche son nouvel entraîneur sur Football Manager.
It's like Moneyball, but with gamers.
Yo juego Football Manager 2024.
This is a real job.
I gave myself about a 5% chance. Now, recently found out I got the job.
I can already feel he wants to impress. I need to then just make sure he realises that, you know, this is a real time, real job that we're doing.
In terms of what I kind of learned from Football Manager and what I brought into the job is analysing all of the data points. It's effectively footballing chess. It's how you would manoeuvre the players on the pitch to get as much advantage as possible.
It's a low cross in towards Michael Cheek. Great opportunity, and he's into the back of the net. Goal! It's a hat-trick for Michael Cheek.
The impact of the business has been fantastic. Just incredible numbers. Every club in the division is going to be looking at exactly the same thing.
I do think this could be my career for good.
Well done, lads. Get in there.
So, Sega-owned Football Manager partnered with Xbox on this piece of work. There was a 190% increase in Xbox gamers versus the previous year. 1.2 million people saw the job advert. Bromley Football Club had their best season ever in 130 years, and Nathan still works at the club. So, next up, our final piece of work in the wrap-up is all about salience. And when it comes to salience, it has to be Heinz.
Ketchup, ketchup, women way over my head.
Heinz.
This is one of the world's great mysteries.
The company is shaking up its labels.
Ha! It works! I'm about to do the ketchup puzzle.
Heinz has made a 570-piece ketchup puzzle that's just the color red.
You want me to draw ketchup?
Okay.
That's mustard.
Heinz has started a petition to put the same number of hot dogs and buns in packages. Yes.
10 for 10.
I like things matching. 10 wieners, 10 buns.
A fan posted Taylor Swift was eating a piece of chicken with ketchup and seemingly rant. People love Heinz ketchup so much. We gotta feature this.
Marketing is around I think I've never seen. The book full of Heinz ketchup. Where is we're driving slow.
Thank you, Heinz.
So, as you can see, it was a very exciting year for us. And what we've done over in the Lions Learning Division is we've taken 70 years of expertise. We've taken years and years of working with the most amazing brand marketers of the years and creative marketers of the years, feedback from jurors and feedback from everyone involved in CAN to create our suite of e-learning products. And that's a little bit of what inspired today's session, because as I said, not everyone gets to be a juror, but today you do. And the You're in the Jury experience is part of our flagship course, the CAN Lions Creative MBA. So I'm going to hand over to Kyle, who'll chat you through about what this course is.
Yes, that's right. So, look, the Lions Creative MBA is really CAN Lions' secret weapon for you to understand what it takes to create lion-winning work. So, as you can see, we get all these incredible insights from the festival of each year, and we get to really understand what it takes to win a lion. So, from the concept to the execution to the submission itself. These are the festival really is like the Oscars for advertising. So, you know, that we do get hounded for these insights, and that's when we really thought we need to create something to put people in a learning environment where they can really experiment and learn about what it takes to create Lions winning work. So that's how the Lions Creative MBA was born. So it's really the training ground for you to look at a piece of work and say, now that is a Lion winning campaign. So what we'll be doing today is, like Noelle said, we'll be giving you a glimpse into one of the modules of the course, which is called You're on the Jury. You'll act as a juror in a Cannes Lions simulation, judging work and then hearing from real jurors as to the rationale behind picking winners. So for the visual learners out there, we're going to play a little bit of a video that sums up the course really well.
This is it, your big moment. But where do you start? Welcome to the Lions CMBA. 10 modules of line-winning ideas, insight, and impact. Delivered online so you can learn your way. On-demand learning from industry leaders to help you unpack and create the world's most effective work.
The best creatives are the ones that are curious with things more than advertising.
It's really about work that moves the industry forward.
Connect with your peers in the global creative community. Create the best work of your career. Make history. The Lions CMBA. Learn how to make it.
So yes, as I mentioned, the session we're running today is just one part of the course. There's a remaining 10 modules that run over a period of 10 weeks. So you'll leave with a deep understanding of what creative excellence looks like. Not only that, but during the course, you do get access to our intelligence platform, The Work, throughout the duration of the course. So that itself has access to over 250,000 campaigns, case studies, talks, and reports for you to refer to. And now we don't just set you up with the resources, but we also ensure that you are learning from people who have actually achieved these incredible levels of creative excellence. So each week you'll join a live session with a bunch of different industry leaders. And this particular cohort that just started, we have people like the Group CCO of Mullenlow UK, the CMO of Vitacorp, and the Chief Commercial Officer of Heineken. So this access to experts and resources is something that you can really only get at Cannes Lions, and that's really why the course has been such, you know, a wild success.
Okay.
So yes, now we'll jump into the session. But yeah, no, I just wanted to show you guys a few testimonials that we've received about the course. You know, we've had a really great response. We've had clients completing it with their agencies. We've had a lot of major agencies put teams through it. We've had brands put teams through it, individuals enrolling themselves. So it's had a really great response. And, you know, we have a bunch of really positive testimonies that we'd be happy to share with you guys.
One of the best feedback we get about this creative MBA is the network of alumni. So if you're doing the course, you're going to be working with, you know, people from other agencies, big and small. You're going to be speaking with brands like Coca-Cola, Adidas, Molson Coors, Heineken, LinkedIn, Verizon, Meta, Google. So you're going to be speaking with a lot of, you know, well-connected creatives from all over the globe. And I have heard that there are quite a few WhatsApp groups started off the back of these sessions, and that they like to send each other work and judge it throughout the year as well, which is really fun. Yeah. So I'm not sure how many of you are going to be dialing in online, but if you are, please scan the QR code and we'll do a little bit of a test for the first piece of work. If we have enough people scanning and doing the polls, we will count them up and we'll see what everyone was voting. If not, we'll leave it and we will just give you time to take a little bit of a guess yourself as to what the outcome was. Fantastic. Okay. So next up, we are entering the jury room. Okay, we're going to hear a pre-recorded message now from Marco Venturelli. He is the CEO and CCO of Publicis Council in Paris and CCO of Publicis Group France, leading 900 creatives. Listen up, because he is going to explain to you what it takes to judge outdoor creative.
For me, the most important thing is to make sure that you take in consideration that you are judging for outdoor. And outdoor means a lot of things today. So you have to have kind of two separate brains in outdoor. There is the classic outdoor, which is a billboard and poster. And by the way, there are two Grand Prix, in outdoor category, because they replicate these two sides of the category. The classic outdoor, which is the capacity, the eternal capacity to be surprising, strong, creative, and deliver emotion and deliver a clear message with an image and some line. And on the other side, there is everything else that is living outdoor. So out of home, it could be immersive experience, it could be a stunt, it could be an incredible event. All these things belong to outdoor. And so the first question that you need to ask yourself is this idea an outdoor first idea? Meaning that if the outdoor part, of course, it doesn't have to be only outdoor, because there are a lot of ideas that, of course, leverage with PR or with other stuff, but it's an outdoor-led idea. The second thing that it's important in your judgment is this something authentic in his approach? And I will go back to that after maybe the conversation, but one thing that we are getting very good at as a juror in a festival is to have this kind of little sensitivity against work that is just done to win awards. Winning awards should be the consequence, should not be the objective. So can you spot work that is generally good for a brand? Can you see the strategy clear? Can you see the potential impact? Keeping in mind that outdoor is not a category like some other category that is focusing so much on results, but still, can you, in your experience and in your knowledge, think that the piece of work that you are seeing is good to deliver some result for your brand, which could be even just a brand equity or something very soft. It doesn't necessarily to be sell. And the third and important thing that was I'm happy to say a trend this year is let's be very clear on what we're doing. I mean, eventually we are here to help our brand grow, to sell stuff in a responsible way. So is the piece of work you're seeing responsible and respectful of the audience and everything else involved, but at the same time, does it deliver an element to have the brand growing? So you feel very comfortable with things that they're just for selling, because sometimes, and this is part of the brief that you can have with when you start judging, is sometimes we are much more inclined to privilege things that are done for a purposeful vision than things that are done for sale. Well, actually, I do strongly believe that you can do both in a very nice way.
Okay, so let's judge our first piece of work. This is Whopper Island by Burger King.
There is an island in the middle of the Indian Ocean, uninhabited. It is home to an incredibly active volcano. This magnificent place with real breathing fire has a major flaw: its name. The audacity. A place with real fire cannot be called
Você procurar a ilha de McDonald's no Google Maps?
E lá o Whopper! Sabe o que acontece? Você ganha um Whopper!
Has active volcanoes, flames, fire, which of course we know is Burger King's thing, and McDonald's has none of.
The boiling desire to change the island's name created eruptions of devoted Burger King enthusiasts who flocked to Google Maps, crashing it twice. And not happy with changing it here, people also took this matter over here. And a pyroclastic flow of poignant headlines was seen across the planet.
Tem a história, tem o nonsense, tem o humor.
A desculpa é a de que lá tem fogo de verdade por causa de vulcão.
Gerou memes internacionais.
A land of real fire is finally reconciled with a fair nomenclature. To be forever enshrined into the memory of an ever-changing world. McDonald's Island is now the Whopper Island. And most importantly, the world is now a better place.
Okay, let's get voting. What do you think this piece of work was awarded? Scan the QR code and you'll be brought to our live polling station. Oh, and the votes are coming in. We'll just give it a second because there's quite a few coming through.
Yeah, and we've taken this show to all the big agencies and a bunch of brands as well. And I think what's the highest we've got?
The highest anyone's gotten was 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
Yeah.
So
And that was with Havas.
yeah.
They got 4 out of 5. Okay, still quite a few coming through.
Okay. All right. So let's see what everyone here voted. So everyone voted for this one, that it would be a silver. So
And the actual result was silver. Well done. Okay. Let's hear from Marco about why this work was awarded silver.
So you win a silver for many reasons. One is the fact that it's a very strong PR idea, but it's starting, as I was saying before, it starts for something that's very outdoor, because in a way you are turning a physical space, in this case an island, into a part of a brand storytelling. The second reason you got a silver is the fact that in a way is, and that's very important, and we can discuss more about that later, is the fact that it's very consistent on the brand strategy. As you know, Burger King has been for many, many years going on and on and on about the flame grilled. So of course, having a campaign for the brand that is focusing on that, it's much more useful in terms of strategy, as I was saying before, and in terms of actual effectiveness. And at the same time, it's even easier to connect with people and to jurors as well, because of course there is a variation of a message that in a way you know already. The other thing that work, and it's very important, and unfortunately it's something that people need to work a lot to deliver, is that the case is brilliant. I'm sure that when you saw the case, you enjoyed it. There are a lot of elements there, and so you have to keep in mind that sometimes when you vote for a piece of work that goes up in the ranking, you watch the case over and over again. So there are some cases that are very nice the first time you see it, and then the more you see, the less they're interesting. And there are others that are so full of details, that are so full of interesting stuff that you actually enjoy watching more. And this definitely belongs to the latter. And the last reason, I think, is the fact that it's we were a bit in a quest, and I think that every year there is a bit of this double feeling that among all serious and important work, we were a bit on a quest of powerful word that can be a bit lighthearted. And I think that this is kind of a stupid idea in a good way, because keep in mind, we do an amazing job where we can turn stupid ideas into something amazing. And so having a stupid idea well executed is always very refreshing. And that's why I think you got to sell that.
And what could it have done to sort of nudged it to get a gold or a Grand Prix?
To be honest, I think it definitely over deliver, starting from where it's coming from, the idea. I think that the silver is really a testament to the fact that they did everything perfect. It could have as easily stopped to a short list if it wasn't done so well, if it wasn't done with all the activation, with all if the video content was not so captivating, if there was not the PR part. So I think that they really, really kind of punch slightly above their weight thanks to an impeccable execution. I don't think it could ever be a gold or a Grand Prix.
Okay, you ready for our next piece of work? This is Pub Museums by Heineken and Le Pub Milan.
For more and more pubs, it's last call.
Rising costs, rising utilities, rising cost of materials.
In the last 10 years alone, we've lost 10,000 pubs.
Trying to be as loud as possible to say this just can't happen.
The closure of a traditional Irish pub impacts the community immensely. And once it's gone, it's gone.
There are many other historical areas which get huge support from the government. For example, museums.
Welcome to Sean's Bar.
the oldest pub in Ireland, Europe. According to the legend, Oliver St. John Gogat. Around 900 AD, a man called Michael Quinn acquired this photograph of Toner.
Heineken Ireland were launching this new initiative, which is to turn these old Irish pubs into museums.
Gives those pubs kind of an extra jolt and keeps them going for another couple hundred years.
I'm here outside of Toner's pub.
The heritage of the pub in the
traditional Irish pubs could officially become museums.
I feel that the idea of turning a pub into like a mini museum is fantastic.
Toner's pub here in Baggot Street is a living museum. I'm the curator of that museum.
Grant aided, tax exemptions, etc. The Irish pub gets support from the government. How many museums are closing?
Okay, so the polls are live. Let's cast your votes. What do you think Pub Museums was awarded last year?
Okay.
Oh, they're coming in, quite a few.
Yeah, see, I like that one. That's my type of museum.
Yeah.
Okay.
We maybe give it 5 more seconds because there's quite a few coming through.
Looks like there's some confident voters.
Almost neck and neck there, but
Yeah.
one's come in the lead. Okay.
Okay. Well, this seems to impress everyone. So you lot decided that it was a Grand Prix. All right. Now, should we have a look at what it won? A gold.
Let's hear. We might have tricked you a little bit with this one. Let's hear from Marco on why this was awarded gold.
To be honest, this to me is one of my favorite ideas in outdoor this year, and is definitely a well-deserved gold, and to me could even have been a Grand Prix contender. What is amazing about this is all the things that we already touched before. The first thing is the fact that it is a way to leverage two things that sometimes are treated separately, but actually should be part of the same approach, which is responsibility. So having a positive impact in the world from the brand, and sales, because at the end, saving pubs is saving a place where you sell your product. So this kind of magic connection that are happening one side. The other thing is the fact that it's a very powerful and respectful way for a brand to interact with something that is so culturally relevant and important. So being very respectful of the people and the culture that your brand interact with. Keep in mind, Heineken does this activation in Ireland. That is the kingdom of Guinness, and so there is even a conquer approach that is done in a very, very, very charming way. And the most important thing is that I think it's a very innovative way of finding a solution to a real business problem and to a real kind of bigger society problem, which is the fact that places for people to meet and share moments together are getting less and less important. So using technology innovation at that service is very, very important. So I think that for all these reasons, it's an amazing goal, and I don't think there was a lot of conversation about that. My opinion, it could have been easily a Grand Prix if it was, because this campaign has been launched just before Cannes, so it didn't have a lot of result yet. You didn't see really the big impact, the big amount of pub that was touched by it. I think that if there was a bit more time in the preparation, especially on the result and the impact, it could match. We could easily imagine that as a very big Grand Prix contender.
Okay, now for our next piece of work, a British original by British Airways. Okay, let's get voting.
Okay. Now this one has a little trick as well.
Yes. Oh,
So beware.
a lot of confident voters here too. Yeah, I think we've got one in the lead.
Yeah. Okay. Now, everyone voted here that this won a gold. Okay, so let's have a look. Shortlisted. So not quite.
So there was a little bit of a trick there. Let's hear from Marco about why this was shortlisted.
This was a Grand Prix last year. Okay, so the previous edition, 2023, he won the same campaign. Let's say won a Grand Prix in outdoor. This one is the follow-up. So there are new subjects of the same campaign. So done on other teams and other support. So of course, it's an amazing campaign. It's an amazing campaign. It's a Grand Prix idea, but we didn't consider that the new wave of new subjects were disruptive, innovative, fresh enough to win a Lion. Especially, and again, it comes back to the comparison. When you did a Grand Prix and it's so fresh and so new, so powerful, then even if this is amazing, you still compare and it doesn't get that.
Okay, so we have another piece of work for you. Trigger warning. Any pet parents, this one's a bit of a tearjerker. This is adoptable by pedigree.
Purpose advertising.
Purpose marketing.
Purpose marketing.
Pedigree and Nexus Studios present Adoptable. Adoptable uses machine learning to transform a basic photo of a shelter dog into studio-quality photography. That shelter dog can then be inserted into any digital pedigree ad. Each ad directs people to a personalized landing page. Here, they can learn more about the dog they just saw. And when adopted, that dog is instantly dropped out of media rotation. Now, every pedigree campaign can feature an adoptable dog near you.
Adoptable uses an AI model that is trained to understand the exact visual composition and the nuance of the specific dog. Fur length, body shape, and color identity can all be customized to match the individual dog waiting in the shelter, right down to its unique markings. And because the rig is fully augmentable, the dog can be positioned to suit any media format.
But currently, 1 in 5 adopted dogs are returned to shelters. Using geographic data like proximity to parks and household sizes, Adoptable matches dogs to the locations that suit them best.
We're using really bleeding edge technology that's never been done before to help us as an activist brand really move our purpose forward.
Adoptable is transformational for us at Pedigree because it puts our purpose at the heart of everything that we do. Soon, every dollar we spend on media will not only help to bring our products to the world, it will help bring adoptable dogs to the world too.
Okay, let's get voting. What do you think Adoptable by Pedigree was awarded last year? Okay. Wow, I think even more votes than last time coming through. So hello to anyone who's joined a bit later. All right. We do have one front runner though, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's a close call, but it looks like you lot have voted that it was a Grand Prix. So let's have a look and see what it was. It was.
Amazing. Okay, let's hear from Marco about why this work was awarded Grand Prix.
This was one of the 2 Grand Prix, is the non-traditional one. And the reason why I got it is that the number one reason is because it's the answer to what we were discussing before. In a way, is a brand that is able to use its purpose and the sale at the same time, because at the end they are selling their brands with their ads. And not only that, of course, it makes sense for Pedigree to be active on adoption. And by the way, they've been doing that for many years, because of course, the more people adopt dogs, the more Pedigree they will need to to feed them. So it makes a lot of business sense. And the reason why it got the Grand Prix is that we felt that it was really perfectly representing this will that we have to award work that makes sense for business. At the same time, the other little element, because there is a contextual element that's very important, is that it's one of the very few cases that we have this year that got very high level metal that involve AI. Why? Because in a way, and I said that several times, I was afraid, especially this year, to find a lot of AI generated image or things like that, but actually it was almost none. The thing that is amazing in this piece of work is that AI is not used to replace something that we could do differently. So it's not just a cheaper way to generate image or replacing the work of a good photographer or a good art director or things like that. AI here is just there to help you deliver something that you will not be possible without it. And that's very important because in a way, in this way, AI is pushing the boundaries of what we can think as a creative and what we can actually make happen forward. And that's the most important takeaway for me this year, to see AI as a technology in general as a tool to do unthinkable things instead of a tool to replace good taste and skills and human capacity.
Okay, fantastic. And now on to our last piece of work. I just want to say we have had a couple of questions come through, so please stay on and we'll have Keon from our awards team answer those that he can, and then we'll try and answer any other ones as well. So our last piece of work, Corona Sunset Bottles by Corona. Okay, we might look at that one again just because it's a bit short. Okay, the votes are coming through thick and fast. Oh, they're changing. Some neck and neck against these three. Wow. Okay.
This one's a tricky one. This one always trips people up, I feel.
Yeah.
Because it's so short.
Yeah.
But you might be surprised. Okay.
I do think we have.
Let's have a look. All right. So your crew have voted that this one has been shortlisted. Okay. So let's have a look and see. Bronze.
So let's hear from Marco why this was awarded bronze.
Again, I think the bronze is the best you can aim for an idea like that. What we wanted to, when we award this, we wanted to make sure that we had some pieces of work that were represented the classic art of outdoor advertising. So an image that is compelling and strong and visually captivating enough, but not too self-explaining to make the connection with the viewer when you need to fill in the gaps. And that's something that when it's well done, like in this case, always work. And we felt that we were kind of, we saw a lot of very overcomplicated ideas or very complicated case. It was very refreshing when you find ideas like this one, and we have several others that are very, very simple, but still feel fresh and powerful. I'm sure that if you can imagine working in a city today and seeing a big billboard like that, you will notice and you will get straight away what it is, and you will remember, and it will do good to the brand, and that's more than enough. And I think it's a very well-earned bronze. I don't think it could aim for much more because it's not, as we said, it's not innovative enough in that sense.
So I want to finish off this session by talking to you about the case for creativity, which we are very passionate about here at Cannes Lions. So each year we do the State of Creativity report, and we speak to about 3,000 marketers, creatives, brand specialists to get their feedback on what's going on in the industry. And we found that brands predicting growth were 6 times more likely to prioritize creativity. And brands that were predicting growth were 4.6 times more likely to have a higher marketing spend than in 2023. So we've called these numbers, well, the numbers that a brand board needs to hear, or your board too, or anyone making decisions on what's being spent for creativity and everything that goes into it. So don't just take our word for it, because NC Solutions worked with Nielsen and they revisited some previous work that they had done to try and identify the advertising element that contributed the most to incremental sales. And well, guess what? It was creative by 49%, followed secondly by brand penetration at 21% and targeting at 11%. So you can see there is very much a clear correlation between investing in creativity and commercial growth. And finally, on the case of creativity, our sister company, Work and Kantar, found that highly creative ads drive more than 4 times the profit as those with low creative quality. So we are going to finish the session by talking to you a little bit about Lions Learning, which is the division that Kyle and I both work on. I'm going to give you a quick overview of our courses, because we've got something for absolutely everybody, and our courses were designed for busy people working 9 to 5s, sometimes 9 to 10s if you've got, if you've got a pitch due. So for the juniors or anyone new to your agency, we have the Contagious Creative Accelerator. So that is a framework of the best-in-class creative learned through case studies. You will understand the foundational knowledge and skills and tools you need to create amazing strategies, and you get to see the campaigns that have done this. That takes roughly about 8 hours, and students have a couple of weeks to complete that course. Next up, we have our Master of Advertising Effectiveness with James Herman. Now, this course equips you with a deep understanding of the fundamental and evidence-based principles of advertising effectiveness and how to drive a greater ROI across your advertising campaigns. James Herman, CEO of Tracksuit, has won about 50 marketing awards during his time at the company. And he starts off the course by saying, what is marketing and does it work? Tricky question. He answers it and explains why it does. And the really interesting thing about this is that none of it is anecdotal. It's all principle based. FCB this year have bought quite a few seats for this course, because when they are pitching, they want to be known as the agency with the most Cannes Line accredited learners within their team. Next up, we have our Master Modern Media.
Yeah, so this is a really interesting course, and it's been one of our most successful. It's all about the attention economy, and I guess using attention data into your workflows. So it's run by Dr. Karen Nelson-Field, who is, a leader in that field, and she uses a bunch of research to tell you what's the best way to integrate attention into your workflow and your considerations. So it's a really interesting way to measure performance. As we know, there's just so much going on in the world. We can barely keep our attention on one thing for more than a few seconds. So this one's a really good one, and it's been super successful.
And so what she does is she leans into some scary stats, actually. Like, did you know it takes 2.5 seconds for an ad to gain mental availability, and 80% of ads don't achieve this, and 85% of ads are misunderstood. So that's a really interesting one for marketers and any media professionals. We also have Unlocking the Influence of Culture with the incredible Dr. Marcus Collins. That is a 6-week course, 2 live calls with the good doctor himself. He was the Chief Strategy Officer at Wyden and Kennedy, New York. And my favorite fact about Dr. Marcus Collins is he led the digital strategy for Beyonce and came up with the concept of the Beehive. We also have the Alliance Growth MBA with the infamous Fernando Machado. He's in our London office today working on the last few bits for his cohort, the Growth MBA. It goes live today. We have never had so many students sign up for a cohort, and they are still coming in. We've got Molson Coors, we've got Heineken, we've got Unilever, we've got WPP, we've got Coca-Cola, we've got Meta, we've got them all. So it's very much based on how to turn creativity to your competitive advantage. It gives you a peek behind the curtain to see what it takes to produce consistently good work and deliver great results through creativity. And it's presented in sort of an Anthony Bourdain style, where Fernando will travel to Sydney, London, Miami. He'll speak with Nina Patel from Kraft Heinz. He'll speak to Harjot Singh. He'll speak to a few more of his friends, and yeah, you'll get an insider deep dive into how great creativity can drive great results for a brand. And last but not least
is the Lions Creative MBA, which is kind of what we've touched on during this session. So for those that are really interested in awards, in coming up with ideas that are, you know, at that level of creative excellence, that they are line winning kind of ideas, then this course is going to be really incredible. It's a really good opportunity for those not attending Cannes to really like absorb the essence of Cannes and that creative inspiration that you get when you are at the festival. So for anyone that does really want to go to Cannes but might not make it this year, then definitely like look into this course, because it's going to be a way for you to really absorb all the benefits of being there, whilst also like meeting a bunch of great people that you can stay in contact with, and just really growing yourself professionally and personally. So but that's our suite of e-learning courses.
What we should do next is, for the next couple of minutes, if we could hand over to Keon, because we've had quite a few questions come through. Doug, is that okay?
Go for it. Yes.
Right.
I love everyone.
We've
Thank you,
had
Doug.
a few questions in the notes, so
Yes.
I could read out a couple for you, and then what we'll aim to do is maybe send Doug some information on anything that we can't answer at the moment, because we might be short on time. Okay, one question that came through was, and I think this is off the back of the British Airways piece of work, because of when it was submitted. So should we wait until next year, since it launched so close to the deadline?
Good question. So April is a heavy period for work launching in the advertising industry. We know that. Now, while the final deadline is the 10th of April, if you reach out to us on awards@canneslions.com, we'll do all we can to help you submit your work while it's fresh to the world.
Okay, fantastic. So there is still time. And Doug, are you happy to share that email address with the network as well after the call?
Yeah, we're gonna put it up right there.
There we go.
Amazing. Awards@canneslions.com. Okay, so this one, someone has asked, how does Cannes think that juries will consider AI now?
Yeah,
So,
that's the big question that we're hearing a lot from people is, you know, we with other awards, you know, we've seen things have accelerated quickly here. And so the question now becomes, what, and I think it was addressed in that award-winning work, where it is a tool to augment, it's not the thing to make the thing. But I'm curious what some of these conversations, and I think all the indies are interested in what some of these conversations are around AI and judging.
Absolutely. I think one of the most important things for us is to make sure that the conversation in the jury room isn't about whether AI was used or trying to guess how it was used, and more around the creative itself. So we've introduced a compulsory question which asks for every entry, was AI used? And if so, how was it used? Now, this is to make sure that we know jurors are curious. We know they are going to be asking these questions. We want them, instead of talking about how AI was used or whether it was used and hypothesizing on that, we want them to be very clear that, yep, AI was used in this way to achieve X, Y, and Z, so that those conversations aren't around whether AI was used, and it's more around your work and what was achieved off the back of AI being used.
Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, and I'm sure that's going to change over time too, which is really interesting. So, and it's interesting because I think it may likely be, it might be more present in certain categories versus other categories. So that'll be interesting, and it's just too early to tell.
Yeah.
So one last question, and thank you as well to absolutely everybody who has joined. We really appreciate it, or anyone dialing in a bit later. We are going to finish with a video about Lions Learning, and there's a little message there from our CEO, Simon Cook. But one last one for you, Keon, is, how does an agency with one entry or piece of work break through?
Okay, so there are plenty of examples of companies submitting one entry and going on to win. It's not about the number of entries. The jury aren't looking for the scale of the impact or the size of the brand that you're working with. They're looking to understand the objective of what you set out to achieve, how you did it through great creativity and great creative thinking, and the impact that it had. Ultimately, the jury are going to look at, is your work appropriate in the category that has been entered? That's the lens they're going to be evaluating it with. They're going to be looking for the story and the hook. So great storytelling is really important when it comes to your written submission and your case films. And I suppose the final thing is leaning into cultural context. There'll be jurors in your room that might not have heard of your brand. They might not have heard of your market. Really, really making it clear what your challenges were and how you set about to overcome those.
Yeah, and one thing I'm going to add here. So most of our members are doing a lot of work in their local or regional markets. There is a misperception that, oh, it's American culture. As we all know, American culture, well, we're not going to get into the politics. However, what I will say is, I'll give you a specific example. We have a number of great members in Denver and Boulder, and there are certain things that are being done in that market that is very, very high level work, and it's excellent. I mean, it's absolutely excellent work. So what advice would you give? Because it's very easy for us to go to write something that goes to the jury, and then there's this perception that, oh, it's an American thing, as opposed to this is Colorado or this is Denver, because it doesn't matter. You said it. It doesn't matter where the work is impacting, but describing that cultural, describing the market, describing the cultural impact in the market, that's really, really incredible. So just talk a little bit about that, because I think that there is a misperception that it's like, oh, it's not a P&G thing from a thing and a thing. It's no, but if you're doing something for Denver in Denver, that matters.
Yes, absolutely. As I said, there's going to be people that aren't familiar with your brand, or they might be familiar with the US, but only with New York and LA, for example.
Right.
It's really important to make the jury's job easy in terms of just understanding what you did, essentially. So some of the questions that we ask entrants to consider are, why does the problem you outlined matter in this market specifically? Tell us more about the market. Why is this solution important to this market? Why does it make sense for this brand to have solved this problem? So let's say there's a purpose piece, or there's something to do with sales. Why is it important that this brand in Colorado, for example, set about to achieve this? And then the other piece would be, what are the cultural nuances of the market itself that the work ran? So is there anything very impressive about, I guess, buying X amount of media, or managing to pull off a great out-of-home stunt in Boulder versus New York, for example?
Right.
Just really kind of taking a step back from your work and saying, okay, if I'm going to explain this to the world, what's impressive about this? What are the things that if I don't mention it, the jury will probably just make up their minds.
Right.
Let's not leave them guessing. Give them every single nugget of information that will help them fill in the gaps.
I like it. So since we're on the topic of Colorado, we've mentioned Denver and Boulder. For £5, name another city in Colorado. Let's see if you know your geography, your American geography. Yeah, it's for you, Keon.
I'm just gonna pass. I'm not gonna attempt.
Kyle.
Aspen.
Aspen's good. Yeah, that counts.
Yes.
So
I know it.
Fort Collins, also known as Fort Fun.
Colorado Springs.
Colorado Springs. Yep. There you go.
Your favorite place.
Keon, when I get to London, I'm going to sit you down, and you're going to get a U.S. geography lesson.
Yeah. I'll owe you a five. I'll owe you a favor.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It'll be double or nothing. All right, wait, what football team do you support?
I'm a Liverpool fan.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna owe me 20 pounds. Okay. All right. So I'm an Arsenal guy. Congratulations on your Premier League title. I'm just gonna preemptively say that. Noelle, I know that you had one other piece that you wanted to share with everybody here.
Sure do. We're going to close out the session with a video. Thanks to everyone for joining or watching. And please get in touch, lionslearning@canlines.com.
Yeah.
If you want any more information on our courses. So Doug, if you wouldn't mind flashing that one as well. lionslearning@lions.com.
You're going to hear from the most awarded creatives on the planet.
You'll learn about how brands are built and how advertising works.
We'll go from know why to know how. You'll learn about why culture has such a sway on us and why it's so tightly linked to consumption.
You'll start to learn the concept of not all reach is equal.
So, as well as accelerating your knowledge of contagious creativity, we're also going to fast track your strategic intelligence so you can apply it to your own work.
It's time to get into it.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for having us, Doug.
Real quick before we go, Simon and I have similar eyewear. I got these in Brighton, so I'm going to have to have a conversation. I'm going to have to have a conversation about that. So, yes. Most importantly, I'm going to put you both back, all of you backstage for a moment as I wrap everything up. I want to thank you all very much. This was outstanding, and for those of you who are catching this as a repeat, lots of great stuff here. So I'm going to put you backstage, but thank you so much for supporting the independent agency community and the creative community. And we'll be back with you soon. So hang on backstage for me.
Thank you.
All right. All right, everybody. Yeah, we're gonna cut a few of those things up. That was really fun. I like a good poll. We don't do a lot of polls. We should be doing more of those. All right, listen, that was outstanding. And if you have questions, you can get a hold of me too, and I'm happy to pass along to the folks at Cannes Lions. Listen, selfishly, I want to see more of our members win some Cannes Lions. I want to see more indies win Cannes Lions. You know, we're a little partial to that. But to all of our members, and we just announced 7 new members today over on LinkedIn. Really stoked to have some new members. Really, this mission just keeps growing and growing and growing, and it's our belief that we are on to something really special, and we invite you to learn more at indieagency.news/join. I'm very easy to get a hold of. Just hit me up on LinkedIn. On behalf of everybody at Indie Agency News, including Kyle O'Brien and Jess Safaris, thanks so much for joining us. See you next time.